Welcome to a special section on discussions with the writer Fred called Breaking Through the Conspiracy of Denial. In this country, over the decades and centuries, there has been a deliberate conspiracy to deny black Americans the many heroes who have fought the valiant battle against an oppressive and for years an apartheid system. Because of this conspiracy of denial, black Americans, for no fault of their own, do not know the names and good deeds of these men and women. Discussions with the writer Fred will take on the task to challenge that conspiracy and with every show bring to our viewers one of those heroes who have made our race proud with their deeds of courage. So allow me to begin this exciting portion with my first hero of courage, David Walker. David Walker was born a free black man in Wilmington, North Carolina in the year 1796. Early in his life, he decided that if he remained in North Carolina, he would not live long because he felt compelled to take up arms against the whites, and as he wrote, for the sorrow which my people have suffered. In 1828, he moved to Boston, Massachusetts. On September 29, he published Walker's Appeal, one of the great abolitionist documents of the time. Walker's Appeal was an appeal for universal emancipation. He believed that blacks of the world were linked by chains of blood and destiny, and there could be no emancipation of American blacks without a simultaneous emancipation of blacks in Africa and the West Indies. Walker's proposed a sustained and total struggle using all available means, including violence, to achieve freedom. In his work, he urged slaves to cut the so-called Christian slaveholders' throats from ear to ear. He asked the question, "Now I ask you, had you rather not be killed than to be a slave to a tyrant who takes the life of your mother, wife, and dear little children?" He went on to instruct, "Look upon your mother, wife, and children, and by God Almighty, it is no more harm for you to kill a man who's trying to kill you than it is for you to take a drink of water when thirsty." The Walker's Appeal frightened whites throughout the South, and it was banned. Any person caught with copies of it were punished with death. And it led to many states passing laws prohibiting blacks from learning to read. It has also been attributed to the Nat Turner Rebellion in August 1831. Obviously, white America has been reluctant to include David Walker in the history books, but he is doing nothing more than what Patrick Henry did when he made his "Give me liberty or give me death" speech, referring to the American Revolution. David Walker was simply telling blacks in slavery to do the same thing. He should be and is a hero of black struggle for freedom and equality in this country. That's discussion with the writer Fred. Welcome to Discussions with the writer Fred right here at Black Video News. Today I have a special guest, a friend of mine. We've grown close over the last 6 months because we're working on a project, a very important project that I won't bring up right now because that's not the reason you're here today. Chris Dawkins is the chairperson of the Joint Commission on Elderly Affairs right here in San Antonio. And today he wants to talk about the Best Community Development Corporation. And so, Chris, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me, first of all.
Absolutely.
The reason I wanted to talk about BEST and our development project here on the East Side, it's actually a project that may not happen. We've been about 4 years in the making, and what we did is our neighborhood association got together and said, we want to have certain things in our neighborhood. We always talked about the things that we don't get, why developers and community service people or homes and the type of homes that we want don't come to our neighborhood. So our feeling is that we would go to those property owners that had vacant property, especially on the commercial strip, and ask them if we were to bring them projects, would they be willing to work with us to be able to allow the neighborhood to bring the type of projects that they wanted, and they get their land developed and the money for their land so everybody is happy. Fortunately, we had what we call the big meeting, which took place at Sinclair Elementary School. And yes.
When was that, Chris?
That was back in, I want to say about 2017.
Okay.
2017.
So this has been going on for a while.
This has been going on for a while. Actually, I'm going to get to that. We've had about 2 to 3 different District 2 council people and we haven't been able to get this project through. The thing that I'll talk about repeatedly, what you need to know about this project, is that it's a 100,000 square foot building. It's $34 million, and we were going to raise the money and gift the building to the city of San Antonio. No taxes on their part.
Who is we? You talk about
the Best Corporation.
Best Corporation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, when we went to some of the banks and so forth and asked them about that, they first asked us, we were looking at doing this as a nonprofit with BEST. And let me tell you, BEST stands for Bear East San Antonio, Texas, Community Development Corporation. So anyway, when we went to the banks and talked to them, one of the bankers asked us, he said, would you mind if, would you have a problem if this was a for-profit project? And I said, let me kind of get this straight. So you're asking me, would I have any trouble maybe with us making money?
Making money.
Yeah. And I said, no, I wouldn't have any problem with that whatsoever. So we don't know how the project actually was going to work out, whether it was going to be a for-profit or nonprofit, whatever worked best for our investors. And that's what we were going to do. But what was very important is that I don't think that a district, especially like District 2, can ever complain again about developers not wanting to come to their area, not being able to get the type of development that they want to see in the neighborhood. Any of those type of things that you always hear communities talk about that they can't get, we were giving that to them, and we still are not getting this made. I don't understand why somebody would want to not take $34 million. If I brought you a bag of $34 million.
I'd be out of here so fast.
So that basically is what it boils down to. And the center that we were going to build was going to be a multi-generational center. It was going to have things for...
Explain that a little more to our viewers.
Sure.
The multi-generational
Yeah, the
center.
multi-generational center. The concept is that in today's age, back in the pre-World War II, baby boomers, you had recreation centers in every community around America that was working, and that's what they were building every place.
Right.
Well, now today you got these kids working on video games, different things like that. You don't see them doing the same type of things that recreation centers normally would do.
Okay.
Yeah, you do see basketball and some of the other things, but those kids that are not going to be basketball players or football players or whatever, or just someplace to go, they want to play their video game.
Yeah.
So the ideal is that to take a multi-generational center is to be able to have somebody that's from a toddler, where they have something, mothers can take their kids there, have a place for the toddlers to be able to play and interact.
Right.
Older people can go there if they want to just read a book or whatever. You've got seniors who can be there. You've got young adults. There's all kind of people. So that's why it's multi-generational, okay? Everybody, the ideal is a little bit of a Japanese type of philosophy where everybody can come together and work together as a community as opposed to working individually in silos. So that's basically what multi-generational center
Is it much like the Claude Black Center or the Barbara Jordan
It would be more inclusive than that. We were going to put 2 swimming pools in.
Okay.
One swimming pool was going to be for East Central High School or any other school that wanted to use it. You have to understand that, first of all, especially as it relates to taxes, the majority of the people around Bexar County especially do not want any additional taxes, even if it's a bond issue. So I know that Judson tried to have a natatorium. They couldn't get one. Steele wanted one. They couldn't get one. So right now, East Central is having to go all the way to Palo Alto just to be able to swim, to have a swim club.
Okay.
So what we were going to do is make a competition pool that would be in this building that they would be able to use. In addition, there would be another pool, what we call a leisure pool, where these anybody in the community who wanted to come would be able to use this pool. And I think it's really good, and because of it being inside, and by us being in South Texas, you have to know that sometimes it's just too damn hot to be swimming outside.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
we want to be able to have something that's inside that can be used year after year. And at one point I do want to make, You've got other communities all around America, and especially within Texas, that is already doing this. There's one in Round Rock, there's one up in the Dallas area, there's a lot every place else, but San Antonio seems to be, we don't get it.
So we don't have that kind of multi-generational facility. On the east side, do we have it in the city at all?
Not like what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, because nobody is going to want to spend the type of money that I'm talking about. And the reason why I'm talking about gifting this to the city is because we looked at, as you talked about me being a transplant from Ohio, I did a project similar to this for The Ohio State University.
Okay.
And the way that this works is that because the city is going to be the owner of the building, any financial institution would want to finance this because the city's never going to go out of business.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So they say, if you need money for this, we're going to give it to you, because if you give us a note to say that the city's going to be the owner of this, then we're in for it. So that's how this concept can work.
So explain a little more for our viewers this idea of gifting this to the city.
Well, as I just said, because of, the money can be raised from individual investors. It can be raised from financial institutions. It doesn't make a difference. The people know that the city's never going to go out of business, so why wouldn't you want to loan them money? They're the best.
Well,
they're the best tenant you can ever get.
It's kind of out of my league. It's above my paycheck.
Right.
Okay. My paycheck's way down here.
Okay. Well, let me say this to you.
What I was going to say is, you gift it to the city.
Mm-hmm.
A gift means you're giving it to them.
That's correct.
Who pays back, or how do the investors make their money?
So basically what you have the investors who come in and say, okay, you want to build this project. The project's going to cost $34 million. They'll say, we'll give you that money up front, okay?
Okay.
And then you'll build the building.
Right.
You don't even have to talk to the city or anything. The city, we were going to do a feasibility study, which would allow the city to make sure that they weren't buying a pig in a poke, that I wasn't just somebody who was giving them an ideal and they're going to get something that they really don't want. Mm-hmm. So you get this feasibility study. We had the foremost authority on these type of buildings actually in North America, out of Colorado, who was coming to actually do the feasibility study. So once the city said that they wanted this building, they would then enter into a contract with us to say that once we built the building to their specifications,
right,
and everything that they wanted, because this feasibility study also is going to say, are you in the right area? Do you have the people to support it? Maybe you need to charge the community maybe $25 a year, maybe to use this facility or whatever it may be. But that's what the feasibility study is for. But once you have all of that done, the investor knows that you're building the building and the end user is going to be the city of San Antonio. So they are willing to, once you finish building the building, you give the keys to the city.
Okay.
And the city basically will give you a check or pay for that building over whatever the course is going to be that they're going to work out with whoever.
So it's not a gift. The city's actually paying. That's what I was wondering. How do the investors get their money back?
It's a gift from the standpoint of you don't have to go to the voters to ask for them to approve this. Okay? So the city and people all over America are loving to do this because you don't have the back and forth between communities and government and so forth to be able to get this done. Right now, Ohio State University, they're building everything like this because it keeps them from having to go through somebody else to say, this is what they want to do. Can we get it approved? Is it going to be any taxes? We want it this way. We don't want it that way. You go to the developer, say, hey, we want to build this. You build it. The city gets it, and it's done. Nobody else has to really be involved with it.
So the city then pays who? The investors, or?
No, the city would then pay whoever they're taking the mortgage out with.
Oh,
so the bank.
Okay.
Probably would be the bank.
Okay.
So they're going to get a loan to pay back the investors. Once they're paid, because the investors are going to get their money right when the building is built or after the building is built.
Okay, so they do get their money back from the loan from the
Right,
bank.
right.
Now the city then pays
Correct.
the bank. Gotcha. Okay.
And let me explain this to you, something that is very important. The District 2 Senior Citizens Building on W.W. White has 16,000 square feet of space, to which the city is paying $500,000 a year. So over 10 years, they've paid close to about $7 million in rent for.
So they don't own it.
No, they don't own it, but they've paid $7 million already.
Okay.
And they don't own it, which is really kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about the District 2 council members. Are they supporting, this is going to be in their district, right?
Right.
Are they supporting this effort with the city?
Well, you know, that's a real good question that maybe people should ask, whether or not it is going to be something that they do. I know when we first started with, I guess it was, the first person was going to be Jada. We do have a letter from her saying that she was going to do it, but it never really got off the ground. Of course, she was only there for one term. Then the next thing, of course, Jalen was working for Jada at the time, so he knew about the project. And he told me he would really support the project, and his chief of staff said that they would support the project. Lately, they've said, well, we don't want to do that.
Why?
That's a good question. I have no idea. They haven't told me. And I'm not really trying to beat the door down to find out why they do or do not want to do it.
Well, would you have to have their support? The
Yes, I
District
would
2?
have to. Yeah, I would have to have their support. But I'm not going to chase them down to give them $34 million.
And how is this a benefit to the constituents of District 2?
You've got a banquet facility, you've got a senior citizen building, you've got two particular pools. BAMC had wanted to put in a therapy pool to be able to do some things. You've got a running track, you've got a wall. It's a multi-generational center. So when I talk to other school districts, they told me because Bexar County has so few indoor competition facilities, that you would have people come in as far away from as Bernie to want to use this facility. So they said, we don't have any problem with it. The city of San Antonio only has one natatorium that the city has done, which is the one across from Lanier High School, kind of in the downtown area.
Okay.
They've got that one, which was built, I think, back in the 80s. Northeast, I think, has one over at Blossom. And there might be one or two others, but that's basically it.
So, putting it kind of in a different way, is this any skin off his back to support it?
No.
None at all?
None at all.
And there's a positive to him to support it?
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
And he won't support it?
As far as I know, I mean, they're dragging their feet. I don't know what the problem is. As you know, you and I are working on some projects. There are different things that are happening. As I said, I would love to see it happen for the people of San Antonio, the people of District 2 and the East Side. I would love to see this happen. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen, it's not any skin off of my back, okay? It's not like I'm going to, again, track them down to make them take this building.
Okay.
I think the reason to talk about it today is just to make sure that the other people, the constituents, know about what was or is available for them, that their councilman is making a decision for them that I really don't think he should be making.
Is this a financial strain on the city? Is that why he
No
does
strain
this?
on the city. I told you we're going to gift them $34 million. On top of that, they're already paying $500,000 for a place on W.W. White that they don't own. Okay, so they've been doing that for 10 years, starting with Ivy Taylor. They've been doing that for 16,000 square feet. I want to know who's making that money. That's really what we should want to know. If you got somebody paying, I would love to rent a place for 16,000 square feet and get $500,000 a year for it.
So what you need right now is for him to respond to you.
Sure, that would be
Right.
good.
You
Yeah.
need to-
I mean,
okay.
And he doesn't need to respond to me. He needs to respond to the constituents. I mean, I think if he wants to be reelected, he needs to talk to the constituents to tell him why he's turning down a project that is, I mean, last night, I think you know William B. Johnson.
Yes, well, very well.
Yeah, went to, yesterday, went up to the Northeast Senior Center, which is on Thousand Oaks. Beautiful, beautiful
Facility.
place. Yeah, beautiful place. We're talking about almost like the same thing, but we're talking about putting things in it that help other people, like the school district.
Yeah.
And we know that municipalities like the city of San Antonio really does nothing to help school districts. The school districts are over here, you got the city over here,
Right, yeah.
and never do the two shall meet.
And you got so many school districts.
You got so many school
Yeah,
districts, right?
yeah. Well, you said he needs to explain to the constituents why he's not supporting it. I think he needs to talk to you about why he would support it, because it's good for the District 2.
Yes.
It's good for the constituents.
Yes.
So to the city councilman out there, take heed. Remember what happened to the last city council person because she was not responsive. We're going to take a break here and then we'll come back.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
What's he
Hey,
doing
it's
here?
Smokey. Sorry, it was too high.
How do
Right.
you not know
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you
me to
said,
make it big.
no, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of
Right.
our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
He watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
2021 is complete. Good or bad, you made it through. The year of many firsts. It will not be easily forgotten. The Black Book Yearbook will help you capsule the year that was 2021. Own your part of history. Get your yearbook today at blacksinsanantonio.com. For the latest news and community activities, visit our companion site, blackvideonews.com, celebrating over 10 years of documenting the community.
Welcome back to Discussions with the Writer Fred and my guest here, Mr. Chris Dawkins. So Chris, I understand that you are trying to build a worldwide connection for black people called Black United. Do you want to explain that to our viewers?
blacks-united.us. It's a website that, the one thing that black people have not been able to do, I believe, that is the one reason that has held us back tremendously, and that is to unite together. It is important for us to be able to unite together, and I think we've tried everything else, and I'm just trying to give an effort to allow people to unite as black people together as well. The ideal is that the two things that usually black people don't want to do is, one, they don't want to unite, and number two is they don't want to trust anybody or allow anybody to, they don't want to trust anyone with their money. So we say pay $10 a year, let us show you that we can be responsible with your money and become and join forces with other black people around the country. Right now, we're only focusing on the United States, but understand that this problem exists all around the world. So that's why we say Blacks United Worldwide.
And what's your progress right now?
I think the progress has been pretty good. We probably have about 300 members. The ideal is by next year, I'm hoping to raise about $2.4 million. It's a lofty goal. We're really behind in being able to do that. But the ideal is that by next year, we would like to have a conference someplace within the United States. Hopefully, someplace like San Antonio, someplace like Houston, someplace in this area. If we were able to raise the $2.4 million, then at that particular point, I want to turn the organization over to the membership. The membership can then say what it is that they want to do with it. They've got $2.4 million. Do they want to back a presidential candidate? Do they want to use that money to pay for an executive director? They can use it however they choose to want it. I'm only trying to put this together and to be a catalyst to put it together for them.
Okay, and how do they contact you?
Everything is done through the website, which is blacks-united.us. You can join there, and everything is right there. The money is raised there, goes into a black bank, and it's touched. Nobody is able to touch it at all until next year.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Sounds like Black Wall Street.
That's right.
In 2022, right? Yeah. We haven't been able to do that in 100 years. What those folks did. And you know, the amazing thing about it is they did it under such terrible conditions. I mean, apartheid and segregation and lynchings, and they still did that. And we can't seem to do it today. So maybe you're onto something. Let's hope. Okay?
Let's hope.
Yes. Okay. I will be right back with you.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. The trees stand tall. Mother, mother, you tell me to stay rooted. The trees' roots go deep. You tell me to focus on my breath, and the trees breathe for the earth. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? Will you be the kind that makes shade, or the kind that shows a new way? Might you be the kind to hug, or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind. The child had a few more questions after that, and the forest had plenty of answers.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
Welcome back to Discussions with the Writer Fred with my guest here, Mr. Chris Dawkins. Okay, Chris, the last thing we want to discuss is your effort for internet real estate. Could you explain? Again, you're above my paycheck. Okay, I'm way down here. Can you lift me up a little?
Right now, I have a software company called eLog Plus, and we make a software for truck drivers. I want to basically kind of transition out from that, and because you're an entrepreneur, normally you don't really have, unless you've been able to invest really well, which I haven't, you don't really have the type of retirement plan that you need. And although I call it internet real estate, it's not real estate like you would talk about. I'm talking about getting sites that can produce income without me being there, and getting those particular sites and developing them to such a way that they will eventually bring money in and that I don't have to work with or do anything with it. If I decide I want to go to Jamaica, the money is still coming in, but you develop that website, that can work on its own and bring you income. And that's what I call developing internet real estate.
So how far along are you with that project?
I'm getting, pretty much along. I've got a drxhealth.com, which is has some supplements and so forth on it. I've got one click earner, which people, if they want to learn about maybe trying to make some money on the internet, different things like that, they can do that. So we begin to develop these type of sites that people can go to, and we do SEO, which is search engine optimization, to make sure that we can get people to them and so forth. And actually, that is how I started with blacks-united.us, is using that as a guinea pig to figure out how I was able to get the people to that website and to be able to take those processes and bring them over to other websites to be able to use.
Sounds good. Again, above my pay. Yeah. But it sounds good. Okay.
I do have a guy sell one that you turned me on
to.
Who
really good.
Is doing very well. He's helping me out quite a bit.
Yeah. So, any closing remarks, Chris, that you would like to share with our viewers?
I think that San Antonio is a great place to be. I love being here. I love being in Bexar County. And I've always been an ideal type of guy. So I have a lot of ideas, a lot of things that I like to do. I like to meet people, and either give me a call or see me, and let's try to do something together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to my viewers, to the city councilman, this seems to be a great project, and the least you can do is respond to Chris and his folks about that project. One of our problems in our communities, not only here in San Antonio, it's nationwide. These folks get elected and they forget the people who elected them. And that's something that we as black people have to overcome. We should not elect saints that stay there forever. We should elect folks representing us that have to come back to us and explain what they did. So to the councilman, I would strongly urge you contact Mr. Dawkins about this project. This is a discussion with the writer Fred, telling our story, our way.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
COVID-19 has changed how we show up and show out with our family. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to talking smack with a side of mac and cheese.
Before we can safely come together, we need the facts.
As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it?
Is it safe?
Should I wait?
It's smart to question. Now, get the facts at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
COVID-19 has changed how we express our faith and gather to worship.
We all want to get back to how we pray,
how we congregate, how we lift our voices in praise. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to spreading the word without spreading concern.
Before we can safely come together, we need the facts.
As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it?
Is it safe?
Should I wait?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.